Hello friends, it's time for another Good to Know Monday tip. I titled today's video tip, How to Change Your Old Limiting Story. There's commanding power in asking questions of ourselves. It's the key to enabling our personal power so we have the means for getting anything we want. The power of your own databases in your mind, as well as the power of the incomprehensible it that's out there in the universe, the universal mind, so to speak, both have the answers to every question we can think of. All are available to us. Let me share an example of how I use the power of other people who have the knowledge that I might need. I use Entreport.com's software system to support my website's membership feature. It's quite involved. I've had many experiences with the system, both bad and good. Experiences related to this membership feature and the email communications and the auto responses it employs were all very complicated to me at the beginning. Every day I had to spend hours learning how to use the power that the Entreport tech support person offered me. Now you might be thinking, you're just gifted and technologically savvy, but the fact is I'm not. I invested hours to learn this stuff. I'm not a techie geek. In fact, I'm far from it, I promise you. I needed something very much so that it had to be simple to apply the principles that so I could teach my clients when they're needing help with something like that, or needing to change their focus or intention so they can be successful. Many of us, when we see someone of extraordinary capability, or someone who seems to have a superhuman focus and therefore a powerful capacity to deal with life's challenges, we think things like, they're so lucky, or they're so talented, they must have been born with that talent, or they have a gift for that kind of thing, and I don't. But the reality is, like my case of learning about Entreport.com's system, that through itty-bitty baby steps and then through asking good questions of Entreport's tech support people whenever I got stuck, that's the key to how I was able to learn their system. It is a complex and difficult system, like I said, very difficult to master from scratch. But I have done it, and now I believe anyone else can do it too, because I did it. The main reason is that I was able to ask the right kind of questions of myself to get ready. So when I called into their tech chat support, I was able to ask them the right questions, and then I watched how they did that feature. Each challenge when I got stuck was tied to a feature, and they'd show me and give me videos and send that to me so I could do what they did and showed me. That's the power of having a coach. Their chat tech people were like mini coaches to me on this system. The process of coaching by Entreport's tech support people via the chat worked beautifully and does continue to work beautifully. Their techs know the system perfectly and were willing to show me where to do this and how to do that and why we did this or that. I just needed to be willing to start with the right focus, the right intention about what it is I wanted to accomplish and why. And then I had to believe it was possible for me to learn it, which drove me to do the hard things. There were some difficult things. I took patience, and I had to put some hours in and watch some video tutorials. The hard things. The fact is, nothing comes all of a sudden. Wham, success attacks you. Doesn't happen that way. Or without any effort on our part. Of course there's effort, especially when we don't ask the right questions of someone who has the knowledge and skills that we're hoping to acquire. We've got to be willing to ask, and then listen, and then go do. There's a law called the law of common denominator, and it says the common denominator found exhibited by most successful people is that they're willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Let me repeat that. The common denominator found exhibited by most successful people is that they're willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. They're willing to hear hard answers and then do what those answers required. This focus of willingness or intention starts with you asking yourself, as well as your mentor, the difficult questions. Those questions whose answers usually require that you do hard and difficult things. I had to do some difficult, time-consuming things in my effort to learn how to use Entreport's system. And now I know how to use it, and it's wonderful. It's not difficult anymore. Another example is that of people who are depressed because their pattern of focus is limiting their life's experiences. The quickest way to change this pattern of a limiting focus or a limiting story is to ask yourself good, great questions that reveal the hard, new direction, out-of-the-box kinds of answers. Far too many people struggle with their limitations because they continue to ask themselves disempowering questions. Questions like, what's the use? Why even try since things don't seem to work out for me? This just perpetuates their struggle, those kind of questions. What people don't realize is that if they continue to ask themselves terrible, limiting, negative questions, they're always going to get terrible, limiting, negative answers, and thus terrible results. Our mental computer is ever ready to serve us as it engages the law of attraction. We either attract negative or positive experiences and thoughts to our minds or from our out there in the universe into our minds, depending on what we're focusing on at the time. Whatever question or request we give our mind, it surely will come up with an answer. It does. That's how it works. That gatekeeper. The key to changing this pattern is to stay focused on the right kind of intention, the right kind of focus, your dreams, and not your struggles. Henry Ford said, when you think you can, you think you can't, or you think you can't, you're right. Let me repeat that. Whatever you think you can, or you think you can't, you're going to be right. The difference between those who stop limiting themselves with those who fail to stop limiting themselves lies in the key kinds of questions they ask themselves at any given moment. Those questions are driven by our intention, our focus at the moment. If our focus is right, if our intention is strong and clear so that we ask ourselves the right kind of questions, it makes all the difference in what we accomplish in our lives. Knowing that it is our focus, our intention, our inner story of how we see ourselves that directs the questions we ask ourselves, that's so important. This is what thought work is all about. You could say that the quickest way to change your focus and intent is to change your story, starting with asking yourself thought-provoking questions, questions that come from an honest view of yourself. Getting honest, that first step to success, getting honest with yourself, because you are truly curious, compassionate, and confident with yourself. Doing thought work so that you come up with the right kind of questions, I suggest that you use the CT-FAR model and identify your focus of late. And then start asking yourself questions about what you are feeling about your focus, your intention, your old story. What are you making it mean? It is these kinds of thoughts that generate your feelings. And only by changing your old story is the ability that you can produce the feeling you actually desire most. In other words, think of the feelings and think of what thoughts are causing those feelings. Now think of a thought that will bring to your heart and your mind the feelings you want. Okay? By only changing your old story with new positive from the smorgasbord of opportunity of thoughts, positive thoughts, can you move on? Just like I took on the overwhelming task of learning the Entreport.com system by asking questions of myself and getting answers from the experts, by bringing them those wonderful questions and seeing and learning how to use the system features that they showed me, these little steps of doing, asking, learning is what I'm suggesting you take to change your old story to one that reflects the real you want to become, the confident you that you really should be and are, the you who, through little steps, is becoming a successful business owner. That's the bottom line. How you think will help you become the successful business owner that you want to be. Now, before I let you go, let me take just a moment to invite you to have a private coaching call with me at no charge for an hour if you haven't already taken advantage of this offer. Make the decision right now to let me coach you on my nickel. You'll be glad you did, and I'll be extremely honored to coach you on any personal questions or goals that you have. Just click on the link that is in the Good to Know Monday tip email that you received and click to watch this video. It's right there. It says free coaching call with Coach B. Click on it and set up your free private coaching call with me now. Do it. I'm sure you'll be excited and come away saying, man, that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Anyhow, I'm going to stop this invitation and just simply say to you that I want your success. I hope this little Good to Know Monday tip helped you, and I'm looking forward to the next one next Monday. But until then, I want to wish you all continued success. Goodbye.